Great. So, hi everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut your break. So I'm not sure if this topic is so extremely high valued at this time of the day. So I'm really sorry that this is the evening. You have already had a full day. So yeah, I'm Nicole. I have been a developer a long time ago. I have some safety background that puts us and. I'm a tech consultant these days for functional safety, for open source stuff. I'm involved, with Zephyr, obviously, with Elisa, with the FUSA group of the SPDX, and a little bit of OpenChain too. So if you want to reach me, my social media handle is Nick Papler. Should usually work on most platforms. I want to give you a quick overview about what's the approach Zephyr takes for functional safety, what's currently going on, and most important to me, how you can participate. So, okay, you already know about that. So, how many people in here know about what is functional safety? Okay. So, for those who don't, it's not about electrical safety or environmental safety, or it's definitely not cybersecurity. It's about things that should work in a reliable way, where you have routines making sure they work this way, where you have technical measures to detect when things don't work that way. And for hardware, you have also measures for reliability, that you know how long this hardware should usually last in your environment where you run it. So it's while security is how to make sure that nobody will be able to tackle with something, safety is just to make sure it works as defined. So safety is a system property. That's my disclaimer always on the beginning. So if you have a complete system, you don't want to kill people, but for this to work, you need every element in this to work. And for software, we don't have this reliability data as for hardware, but we have the systematic capability that is the term for making sure that you have developed the software with a process, that you have requirements, that you know what the software is intended to do, that you can prove that you have analyzed it, that you have test coverage, that you have planned what you want to do and all that. So more or less that you have all evidences that software is capable of performing as intended. Kate already spoke about that. And I think we also had this. That's great.
I didn't go into too many details. If you want to go into the details.
I don't want to go into the details. So just our initial target is safety integrity level 3 of IEC 61508. We have an option for ISO 262 ISO D. From our perspective, it's simply adding more test coverage. Yes. And at the moment, we start with this initial scope. That's what we're currently working on. This is not set in stone, so we will increase this as we go. If we see we need something for the initial certification, we will add it. And then for sure for the next iterations of the certification, we might also add stuff to the scope. The concept that we are going to for Zephyr is certifying Zephyr as a safety element out of context. That means it's developed and tested without having a specific environmental or runtime context in mind or application. It comes then with information provided that you need for integration, for test, for the scope, that you know what is included, what do you need to test on top. And it comes with a sufficient evidence that this scope has been developed, has all the evidences, has all the information, and provides all the information you need for integration. So I won't read that to you. It's just more or less our hook-in point to IEC 61508. It's this root 3S saying, if you have an element that has been that's already pre-existing, you need to follow certain rules. So it's really the root 3S, assessment of non-compliant development. So Zephyr has been developed as is with a lot of stuff, but not with safety in the planning, so in mind, but not in the complete planning from the beginning. So, and it says, so this is clause blah, blah, blah 12, and it just says we need to comply with blah, blah, blah 13. So that's how standards work. So I won't read this to you either. So there's a big list of things that we need to do. First of all is, for Zephyr, we need to create a system and software specification to just make sure on a high level that we can communicate what is in the scope and what is the Zephyr safety scope doing. So if you look into the docs, there's a lot of detailed information, everything that you as a developer need to know how to integrate it, set up your runtime, your development environment, set up your tool chain, how all the interfaces work. This is pretty there. We will reuse it, but all this high-level documentation that as a developer does not care so much about, but let's say more the management and safety people, this is what we need to create. We're creating safety claims. That's the very high-level claims of what our safety scope is aiming to do. We set up traceability from requirements to code and test to prove completeness. Yeah, as I already said, we will reuse heavily the documentation we already have by the docs. We will reuse the existing tests, and once we have established traceability from the requirement that we're still creating, then we can enhance the test coverage to the level that we need for safety. This clause is covered by the same stuff. As I already said, for a safety element out of context, you need to provide the scope for what is valid. You see a checklist for safety, they kind of repeat themselves. So yeah, we're creating requirements, we're establishing traceability to code and test. And most important, the information for all of this will be provided in the safety manual, how to integrate, how to test, what's the scope. And safety manual again. And surprisingly, there's another clause that says, hey, you need to provide a safety manual. Take that. So, as you can guess, functional safety is aiming with a lot of documents. On the one hand side, you have your processes and your architecture that will lead to a robust system. You have your analysis and tests, and you have all these evidences created with it. And for Zephyr, we just follow this. So we are currently creating, or have mostly created now, the planning document, safety plan, configuration management plan, requirements management plan, all the stuff. Yeah, setting all that up on top of the information that we provide in the safety manual about what's the scope, what's the safe system, and providing all the evidences for reviews, for static analysis, all that stuff that we need. So, the creation, how do we do this? Kate already mentioned we have a safety committee handling all this stuff with certification, so all the audits, assessments, the reviews, the scope definition, communication with the assessor. This is from the committee side. And then we have the safety working group that is actually working on the creation of all the artifacts that we need. Yeah, we set up the requirements management tool. Kate already mentioned we're using StrictDoc. We are creating the requirements, and the best thing is it's open to everybody to participate. This is just a screen, how we would, for example, structure the requirements management. The tooling for all is developer friendly, so we either use StrictDoc or we use what's already there, Sphinx for the docs, and yeah, code for code. So. All workflows are then the normal GitHub workflows, so nothing where you need to open another tool and do some magic in there. The good thing also is now all the assessment evidences and the checklist has been moved to StrictDoc, so we have our assessment checklist not from our assessor not in an Excel format that will exist then in several thousands of variants, and nobody knows what's the latest one. We have all the checklists now in StrictDoc, and we can use the StrictDoc functionality of linking to say, hey, this checklist item is actually fulfilled here. It's just a child. So that's something that's really fine now. Yeah, more or less the same information Kate shared, and yeah, we have safety plan and all that stuff in StrictDoc, so we can provide traceability there, and the assessment checklist, so a really fine thing now. I know most people don't care about plans and requirements and all that stuff, but so also for the coding people, we have coding guidelines that make a lot of sense. So we have good coding guidelines. You find them under the link in the docs, so it's for everybody. They're in there, I think, now for 3 or 4 years, so for quite some time. It's based on MISRA, but it's not 100%, so it makes sense for the project. Yeah, Bugsang helped us a lot in reworking the history stuff. It's now on main, and as Kate already mentioned, it's now set up in the CI, so you don't need a static analysis checker locally on your machine. The safety assessment on itself, we're doing in 2 phases. I think those who've been through an assessment know these phases. So phase 1 is the concept assessment, so where we are currently getting approval of our scope and of our plans and setup and everything. And we're also already working on phase 2 with completing the requirements, setting up all the traceability, doing an analysis, and then as a last step, enhance the test coverage. So where can you start? So we have a weekly call on Tuesdays in the afternoon, and what I ask everybody who shows up there, or have you read the safety overview? So the information I gave you, usually you find in words and pictures and very nicely written by Simon, our safety architect, in this Zephyr safety overview. If you want to look into the requirements and how we do this, we have a requirements guideline in the docs, open to everybody. We take pull requests on that if you want to change something. We have our repos. We have the requirements repo. If you want to just work on that, look into the PR section, give us your opinion about the PRs that are in there. Read through existing requirements, make a PR to make them better, make a PR to create new requirements for stuff that is not yet there, which brings me to the safety working group project, where you find the stuff that needs to be done. So we have a task board. You can just grab an existing task, or you can submit a new task if you think, hey, they missed something. And you're really most welcome to join the calls on Tuesdays. So for Munich, it's 4 p.m. in the afternoon on Tuesdays. Yeah, you find everything that you need here. Join the mailing list. Just show up in the calls. Please read the safety overview. If you want to talk to us, so us is mainly Kate, Simon, the safety architect, and me, just go on Discord or contact us via email, via message, whatever. We also do 101s on this topic, but yeah. It's a little bit strenuous to always start with, do you know what we've written in the safety overview? So, yeah, that's fine. So, yeah, as I said, I held this talk in the long version last week in Vienna. The video is maybe already up on YouTube. If not, it will be. It is?
Yeah.
Okay, I should have.
2 days later, everything was online.
That's really fast.
Yeah.
Because it usually takes a few weeks. So, yeah, the long version is on YouTube. Okay, so questions. You will find me later here also. So, okay, next.